The Shepnaz podcast begins now.
Welcome to the Shepnaz podcast. My name is Joe. Today we are continuing a conversation that Pastor Tim was having with Brenda and Beth from GRIN. So if you haven't caught that episode, you should probably take a listen to that first and catch up. But here we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue with the conclusion of their conversation.
So let me just transition here. If you're watching on YouTube, Beth is wearing a green and white shirt that says GRINiversary. GRIN just celebrated 50 years, their 50th anniversary of GRIN being in existence. And we would love to be able to put GRIN out of business, but that's not going to happen. The demand, obviously, from what you've already heard today is really, really high. Talk, if you will, a little bit about, we've been in several locations over the years, and we keep expanding in size. We started in a closet, I know, literally, of just a few items that were being given out at one local church, and that's now grown to several moves later. We're currently there on Granville, but talk a little bit about how that is going to be changing soon.
The move. Okay, so let's go back to the closet. from the closet, we actually moved into a space that was very limited. We could not serve much produce or meat. It was non-perishables mostly. We were limited on electricity and on weight limits, so we were very limited. Then when we moved to 165 Granville Street, kind of opened up the limitations for us. We were able to serve produce, meat, dairy, cleaning supplies, toiletry items. But because of the increased needs that we're seeing continue to grow and the need for food from the families in Gahanna and 43230 zip code area, we are not able to house the amount of food that we really need. We basically have to go back and forths to Mid-Ohio multiple times, once a week for certain, but we turn down some things that could come to us in bulk because of our limitations on space. And we do have some wonderful partners who have allowed us in the past to store turkeys at their refrigeration. Graffiti Foods. It's been a wonderful partner for us, allowing us to store extra items there. But we can't just take everything there all the time. So we're super excited. We are moving from a 2,500 square feet location to a 6,400 square feet. Just 2 doors down, so that's going to be a lot easier for the move. But that's going to enable us to get a walk-in freezer and cooler and to be able to transport and store as much food as needed on a weekly basis, and we're just super excited about it because we'll be able to do more of the events that we have to take outside of our facility at the new facility. The main reason being there'll be more room to house the fresh foods that we're bringing in and the meats. Kroger, we do direct retail pickups from Kroger at Stone Ridge and also from BJ's warehouse. Klosterman gives us bread, Panera. So we're super excited and thankful for our community partners. But still, even with some of that, we could take more if we had the space to house it. And we will. We're hoping to move in July if everything goes as planned. They're going to renovate the space in June. And we're super excited about that. And if people are really interested in the details and want to know, every single thing about it, we are doing an informational session on April 21st. Coaches has been generous enough to host it for us. And it's going to be from 3 to 8. And we will have it set up in stations so that depending on what you're wanting to know about, you could go to that specific station and get any question answered that you would like.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a great event at Coaches here on Granville. Would really encourage listeners to, if they can, to stop out to learn more about GRIN. It just occurred to me that while we've been talking a lot about the demand, and there has been a tremendous amount of demand, there's also correspondingly been an outpouring from the community that has been amazing in terms of their generosity. Donations, both in terms of giving food, giving money, helping to sponsor a kid, for example, with this weekend supplemental food. They can do that for roughly $40 a month, donations like that on a regular basis. Just talk for a minute, if you would, about ways that they could give. How can they give and be a part of what's going on?
Do you want to start that?
Sure. One of the exciting ways is just to get your family involved and do a physical donation. Go to the grocery store and bring something in. It's kind of a great way to involve families. We have what's called a bag drop, where we have different churches or organizations. They'll take grocery bags with a list on them of what we need in our pantry at the time, drop it off at a certain route. We have pre-designated routes. They can drop off, it's like 200 bags, 150 to 200 bags for a route. One weekend, pick it up the next weekend. The Gahanna community is incredibly generous. Brenda kind of referenced this earlier, that during COVID, we didn't have to close. We did not miss a single pantry. And a lot of pantries had to close because they didn't have either enough volunteers or they didn't have enough food. And because our community is so generous, we had plenty of food to give out the whole time. Bag drops was it was a great way to do that because it was kind of a touch-free method. So those really picked up a lot of steam. There are, drives at churches, drives at schools. Financial donations are very easy to do through our website. We have a push pay platform that people can use, and Brenda can talk a little bit more about that. But we have recurring givers, which is, like you mentioned, Tim, with the $40 a month or whatever number. We have a lot of recurring givers that's just enabled us to sustain what we do.
Yeah.
That's, I think.
And then plus for this move, I know there's a number of opportunities. And
Huge.
On the 21st, you can find out even more specifics about places and things that you could give to specifically. If you're not able to come out on the 21st, though, there are plenty of things as you're looking to move to try to, the walk-in freezer, the walk-in refrigerator. There's additional refrigeration units that are going to be moved over there. There's just all
Chairs,
additional shelving, the chairs.
Everything from the grocery cart. We need more grocery carts to shop through to the big walk-in freezer cooler. There are opportunities across the board.
Right.
To get it. We don't have enough chairs for the lobby. Things like that. So
sure,
it's going to be an exciting event, and just super excited to see how it all plays out.
And it's little things that you don't even think about. Not only shelving and the bigger things, but also we have we're going to be expanding. Beth and I share an office right now. We will have separate offices. We're going to need another desk, more chairs. Some of our chairs really need help, so we're hoping to be able to get some better chairs, and we're working on that. Fire extinguishers, a mop sink. A produce sink. We have no produce sinks right now where we can wash things that come in from our gardens.
Sure.
So we're super excited about that. Sorting tables, more shopping carts, like she said.
Private spaces as well for when you're doing the financial counseling and that kind of thing as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I would be remiss in not also sharing that this is a faith-based organization, and so one of the key parts to this as well is when people come in and they have needs. Yes, they're meeting needs in terms of their food needs and those kinds of things, and helping them with financial counseling. But you're praying with them. You're offering that opportunity to be able to pray with them, to help them, and to let them know that there is also a network of churches that you're also a part of and tied to that would love to welcome them and give them an opportunity as well.
Yes, one of the things that we like to do for our holiday events, especially Easter and Christmas, is we include in their bag of food a list of churches that are in the community, in either their hours or like their Easter services or a website. We want people to we're not trying to build one church, we're trying to build the body, the entire body. So we want to share that information just to make it really accessible for our families to know. With that said, we don't ever turn anybody away. It doesn't matter if you're not a Christian. It doesn't matter. You get food.
Right.
We wouldn't, we don't ever turn anybody away. Nothing is required to receive that food, other than we need to know who you are and where you live. We need to know that basic information. We don't require.
Basically, if you live within the 43230 zip code, you are someone who can come and get get the food if
Or
you need
Gahanna
it.
Jefferson School
Gahanna-
District.
Or Gahanna Jefferson School
Right.
District.
It's a few other zip codes.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that I did want to point out, you mentioned financial counseling. We have a resource manual that we try to keep up to date, and when someone comes to us and they do need help, that is one of the changes that we have made this year. Actually, is we no longer do financial assistance, and we once helped with utility bills, but when the need for food started rising so much, we wanted to be able to keep up.
Yes.
Especially if that changes for more than 2 times a month. So what we try to do is to counsel the people that come to us for help and try to explain to them that, hey, if you allow us to help you with food, then the money that you were going to spend at the store, you could apply that to your utility bill.
Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure
Oh,
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was more counseling. If I had stated that differently, I didn't mean to, but it's to help them understand how to better work with their finances,
Yes.
but not so much to give I know we're not doing the utility assistance now, because there's such a tremendous need for food.
Yeah.
And this resource guide, Brenda does a great job keeping it up to date. It's such a good resource. It has everything from other food pantry, free legal advice. How do you get a birth certificate for a child? This is how seniors can get a ride. This is, this is
Children crisis, mental health.
right. AA, anything. It's all listed in there, and it's to try to address the entire issue, because it's not typically one thing. When a family comes in needing food, there's typically something else going on in their life that has driven them to this place. And we want to be able to give them the resources they need to address those things as well, to be the short-term assistance that we're designed to be,
Right.
to get them over the rough patch. And sometimes a rough patch is a couple of months, sometimes it's a couple of years. It's different for every family, but the goal would be to get them over that rough patch and back into where they can self-sustain.
Right.
And then we have people that come back and turn around and donate to us.
Right.
You helped me this many years ago, and now I'm on my feet and I want to assist somebody else. And it's a beautiful circle
It is.
to see.
That is special. That is special. And I've been able to hear some of those testimonies of how people went from getting something to giving something. And
amazing.
It's very, very special. It really is.
It is.
It really is.
Great.
Well, I know that there's folks that you can be a part of helping GRIN by donating groceries, as Beth was talking about, through your family or through an organization that you're a part of. They can also donate money. They can come out on the 21st at Coach's, and that's going to be, again, hours for that are
3 to 8 p.m.
3 to 8 p.m. on the 21st at Coach's there on Granville. You'll be able to get a lot of details there. For some reason
Yes.
you're not able to, we will make sure that we put in the show notes all the information from GRIN's website, which will include a monthly calendar that shows each month there's particular items that they want within the pantry. And so that's helpful to keep things balanced and not have too many cans of carrots or whatever it might be. But also that's not limited to that by any means. They would love to have whatever donations and paper products, that kind of thing. That there are some things that I know their benefits won't allow them to have. So, but I really appreciate you guys joining us today, being on the podcast. So thankful for GRIN and for the difference that they are making in the Gahanna Jefferson School District and this 43230 community. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for
you.
having us.
You bet. Thanks.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.